Hi guys, I'm Maddie Sobel, and I just wanted to first thank y'all for letting me get to this second step of the interview process. So I'm just going to go ahead and start with questions. The first one is describe yourself in 3 words, and I always use creative, authentic, and passionate as the 3 words to describe myself. The second question is what would the name of your debut album be? And I was like, man, I've never really had to think of this. But I listen to a lot of indie alternative, and that's kind of primarily my listening music choice. And I usually say that I'm pretty free-spirited, so that was the first thing that came to my mind. So my first debut album would be named Free Spirit, and I don't know how cheesy that is, but I like it, so that is definitely what it'd be. The third question is tell us a time that you went over and above to get a job done. And so I was VP of programming for my sorority, and so my job was to plan events and all that good stuff. And I planned our sorority's Dad's Day, which brought all of our dads together to, have a good time and just to interact. And there came a situation where the date for Dad's Day was, later down the line, and they actually told me you have to have Dad's Day in a week. And it takes I had started thinking of ideas, but nothing was planned. So my president was like, you can just throw a barbecue together, nothing big, no t-shirts. And I was like, that didn't really cut it for me. I was like, no, if I'm gonna do an event, I'm gonna do it to the fullest. So I had a week to get this done, and in that week it wasn't just I had all time to spend on this. I had tests and all that good jazz. So I Amazon Primed it. I had this big idea already in my head, and that was a time where I was told I could do the minimal, but I decided to not sleep that week and get everything done, and it came out as this amazing event. I'm gonna make I'm gonna send y'all some photos of it as well. But I'm really proud of that event still to this day, just because it took a week, and it all came together. And even on that day, it rained. I had to do an alternative activity. It was crazy, but that was definitely a time where I went above and beyond when I didn't really need to. The next question is someone offers you this deal, $20,000 for nothing or $200,000 if you can pick the number they're thinking of between 1 and 5, and and what do I do and why? And I was at first, I'm a risk taker, always have been. And so at first I was like, you know what, I would do, I'm happy with my life right now without that immense amount of money. But of course, who wouldn't? So at first I was thinking I would do the $200,000, picking the number between 1 to 5, because that's usually what I do. I'm a risk taker. But in the back of my mind, I kept thinking, well, if I get the $20,000, I'm really good with money, and I could invest it into something and make that money even more than $200,000. So I think that's what my answer is going to be. I think I'm going to take the $20,000 and invest it into a bunch of things to make it more than $200,000. So yeah, that's my answer. And then the last one is, what can you offer to Sherri Hill that someone else cannot? And I always say that both my sides of my brain work equally. There's some people their creative side works better than their logistics side, and I've always noticed that I'm super creative at what I do, but I also have the organization and the logistics part of it. So I think when those two things are equally contributed to, great things happen. And so I really do think that I could bring a lot to the team with the creativity aspect, and just learning and putting forth just an immense amount of effort. So I definitely think that is something that like makes me stand out. And then going back to the 3 words that describe myself is passionate. And for myself, there's obviously like big things that I'm passionate about, like photography, like my dog and stuff like that. But I get easily passionate about things. Like I can be passionate about little things throughout my day, like a homework assignment or like a little task at work. I just get easily passionate and I want to do everything so good. I want to just like have a wow factor in everything I do, and I feel like not a lot of people have that. And so I do think those are the things that I could bring to Sherri Hill that someone else cannot. And so that's all the questions. And like I said, thank you again for allowing me to get to this part of the interview. I'm going to attach like my resume and my blog, and I'm gonna attach some photos of that event just because I'm so super proud of it. But well, thank you, and I hope to hear from you soon.